It's fair to say that most golfers will have an open club face in their downswing. Now, in reality, makes things really, really hard. We've either got to go hardcore with our hands to make the club face square up, or we tend to hit shots that go high, weak right, or slice. Or we tend to drag across the ball real hard with our arms and club to try and start the ball more on target or even left of target to compensate for that face being real open. So let's share with you how we can make sure that club face can become square or even closed to make you play better forever. So we're looking at really the club face relationship in the downswing. So when we get to the lead arm, let's say just past parallel on the way down, this club face relationship. And what I see with a lot of golfers, probably I would say as much as 80%, this club face would be slightly open. So if you imagine that pointing vertically up, that would be fractionally open. I'll see golfers with the club face pointing to the right, for a right-handed golfer, of that vertical on the way down. Now, most elite players, this club face will be pretty much matching the spine, so somewhere around about here. Now, the stronger we make this club face in this position, the less we have to do with our hands through that impact interval. So the more we can turn and keep these hands more passive. We still want to release, but it's more what I would call a passive release, which means it's not a flappy release. So it's not a release that's going, as I described earlier, hardcore, excessive speeds with the club head, but not a dynamic move with the club head. So this is really about creating this dynamic impact through having the club face square. So really what I want to share with you today is a few ways of never having to worry about this club face position again, hopefully. So the first thing would be is the awareness. So swinging to the top of the swing, bringing the club face down and trying to get it pointing towards the ground. That's the first thing. When we do that, what you notice is my right palm points more to the ground. My lead wrist, the glove, the logo points more towards the ground than up, but certainly fairly horizontal would be also okay for me. But the more you can get it feeling it's pointing to the ground, the better, even if this club face got too strong. If this club face got too strong and you made an effort then to hit the golf ball almost to the right, you'd have a really big rotation through the golf ball, which most amateurs do not have. So most golfers would be under-rotated through the ball and flippy, whereas most elite ball strikers or elite players would have a lot of rotation, a lot of opening up of the body, and a much more passive release. So that's what we're really getting to. Let's share with you a few ways in which we can work on this. Way number one, take a tee, place it in your glove as a bit of a visual. Then address the golf ball. Point that tee to the ground as we're swinging down. It can make a huge difference. So just feel you're going to point that tee towards the ground as we're swinging down. And that one there just had too much right to left curvature on it, but that's what I'm really trying to do. I'm really trying to get that tee peg to the ground, and if we end up hooking the ball, it means that my rotation isn't quick enough to cope with that club face, or indeed I'm overdoing that club face. But again, most golfers need to overdo this. We need to get this club face in a strong position. So the tee is a great way of practicing with no cost whatsoever to see if we can get that club face in a stronger position in that downswing, and then have it more square through impact. Tee peg. Way number two, using a training aid. This is the hanger. I like the hanger. So the hanger is very good at showing the awareness with the lead and trail arm. So again, if the club face is open, it's not hitting my lead arm here at all. It's not hitting my trail arm. If I get very flippy, it hits my trail arm. So that'll give me an idea if I'm flipping a lot to make up for an open club face. It'll give me that feedback too. We can also use just the mini club on here, the same way we were, the tee peg and stuff, to try and point that towards the ground. And when I do that, we get a lot of pressure into this lead forearm. I can feel that. I can feel this wanting to bend and really hit into my middle of my lead forearm. So the more again we can practice creating that pressure in that lead arm, keeping that pressure in that lead arm, that gives me the sensation of getting that club face in that stronger position. Again, don't be scared of overdoing this. What I do first of all is start off with some small swings, try and feel, can we get that pressure? Can we get that constant touching of the forearm on the downswing and through swing? That'll give me a sense of creating some more shaft lean, but also getting that club face in a stronger position. Again, priority. No matter how else we swing, get this club face strong, it'll help. So way number 3, and I will finish with way number 4, which is kind of how we can try and take this to the golf course, so make sure you keep watching to see that. So I've got just object, this is part of a teaching aid. I've taped it to my shaft just to give me some idea of where the shaft is. You could use a T and tape it. Again, cost you nothing. Or you can find a little bit of wood or something and tape it to a shaft and old club, which is what I've essentially done here. Again, the mini golf ball here, pointed to the real golf ball. Obviously it's behind the real golf ball, but in terms of direction, it's pointing towards there. So top of the swing, point it. It can rotate through the golf ball, but again, when we rotate it through the golf ball, we want to keep it with a fairly flat lead wrist situation, not a wrist hanging back. We want this lead arm to drive through the ball and rotate. That gives us low point control, ball and turf contact, and a squaring of the face. If we just push the handle forward, you see the face opens. That rotation, you'll see the rotation in the shaft, comes from my wrist, it comes from my forearm. So it's very much this kind of action. And imagine you're catching rain. That's the rotation you want in that arm, and the wrist is doing the same thing. So we want that as a unit working together if we can, rather than cupping this wrist, flapping at the ball. That's definitely not what I want to see you do. For some people, that might be the way they use it at the moment, and 2 wrongs making a right might give them some success. Again, if we take our step to the fairway, point the ball, rotate. Again, that one a bit too much curve, but definitely got that club face in a much stronger position. It felt very different to my normal swing. I definitely can feel the club face get a bit stronger in my normal swing. We all have faults. We all have characteristics in our golf swing. Sometimes we have 2 wrongs making a right, which makes things okay, but I might hit the ball higher, or I might hit the odd hook shot or whatever because of that. So to get the high level of consistency and also to take out injury, the more we can get this club face closed and then use our body through the golf ball, the better. Now let's get stuck into how we can try and take these thoughts to the course. So we've shared there a few ways in which we can see, understand and feel where the club face needs to be in the downswing in order to play great consistent golf with no compensation. So we're not going to have those devices when we go to the golf course. We can't put a tee in our glove when we go to the golf course. So how do we do it in the course? For me, it's all about rehearsal. Rehearsal tells our brain what we want to do. So when I'm stood behind the golf ball, I'm going to try and feel that club face points directly down to the ground and then drag it through. Yes, a handle drag, which is not what we want to do completely. We want to have rotation and some release. But for most of you, you need to feel more handle drag and more close face. So we feed what we need. That'll be the rehearsal. We then step to the golf ball, aim as we would do normally, get our posture and everything in check, maybe a little mini rehearsal, then go and hit a golf ball, and just think about maybe just closing that face on the downswing. One simple thought. And that one was ripped. Straight as well, or a slight push, but certainly no curve on it. And it felt strong, it felt good. Liked the way that felt. And again, if I was going to go and play tomorrow, I'd quite happily take that routine and those thoughts to the golf course. I'm sure it'd help me, and I'm sure it'll help you. And I'm sure it'll help your friends if you care to share this tip with them also. So thanks for joining me today. If you haven't already followed or subscribed, please hit the logo and follow me and let me help you improve your golf. If not, I'll catch you here next time.